Selfie Experiment, Day 21. It is November 12th, 2022. Stick around to the end to hear my goal for today. My goal yesterday was sleep. I had been exhausted as all get out. I had got maybe 5 hours of sleep in a 48-hour window, and I was exhausted. I did not get to sleep during the day. I started falling asleep during nap time, and I got maybe 30 minutes, and the youngest woke up crying because he was uncomfortable again. He does have hand, foot, and mouth disease right now, so he's got bumps all over his face, all over his body, all over his, like, oh my gosh, it's so, as a mom, I'm like, oh my gosh, son, how can I help you? How can I make you feel better? And we just chilled, and I gave him some medicine to help him with his issues, and it was a relaxing day. So we watched Christmas movies for a while. We had a late supper, and I was able to go to bed at 8 o'clock last night when my husband got home. So I wanted to share one of the things that I really noticed. I have been working on like healing and processing emotions and feelings, and I have been able to get to a place to where if I'm feeling down and depressed one day, I can take a few minutes for myself and I can rebound quickly. This is possible when I've had enough sleep. And I noticed that this lack of sleep that I had had in the last 48 hours was, I was not okay. I was reaching out, and I was, I don't know how to say it. I was reaching out to, like, I reached out to my mom, I reached out to my husband, and I finally reached out to my life coach. And the responses that I got back, I didn't feel seen and heard with my mom or my husband. And that's not their fault. They don't know how to handle me in situations when, I'm like, oh, the whole world is falling apart around me and I can't catch anything. And when I reached out to my life coach, she's like, it looks like you're reaching, like, you're asking for help. You're crying out to be seen and heard and have your problem, like, just like stops it in its track. Because when you reach out to someone else who hasn't really experienced the, okay, I was exhausted, right? The only thing that I needed was sleep. But my brain was telling me I need to leave. I need to get away from my kids. I need to, like, it was crazy. I was losing my mind, essentially. And when I reached out to my husband, he was like, how can I help you? And I was just like, come home. But he works in a different state right now, and he only comes home on Friday nights. So it was like, that is not an option. And my mom had called me, and I was talking to her, and she's like, I'm sorry, it's okay, you're gonna be okay, this is gonna pass, like, you're gonna get through this. And I was like, no, I'm not okay. So I ended up just crying, and I was like, this is so bad. So I finally reached out to my coach, and I was like, why do I have feelings around this? And the thing that I asked her about was a situation with a parent in my life who is absent. And they're not absent in my siblings' lives or in my siblings' kids' life. So I was like, why do I feel feelings about this? Why am I mad about this? And she's like, why are you mad about this? I was like, wait a minute. And when she asks those questions back, it's like a reflection. Like, why are you? We are the only ones that know why we feel a certain way about things. I often ask myself, why don't I deserve the love of this parent? And it's not true. I do deserve the love of that parent, but that parent chose different, right? And it's not because of me. It's not because I'm not enough. It's not because I'm a certain way. That person just chose to do life different. They chose to only be in the other kids' lives, right? So that's not on me. But when I was exhausted, I was like, it's all my fault. The world's on fire. Like, help me. And my coach was like, how can you get sleep right now? I was like, right now I can't. But I know when my husband gets home, I can do supper. I can go to bed. And I did. I went to bed at 8 o'clock at night. So if you're someone that is exhausted and you feel like the world is falling apart around you, how can you find a way to sleep? How can you find a way to rest? I noticed too that I got extra sleep last night. I slept for a whole 9 hours, the longest that I've slept in the last week. And when I woke up this morning, I showered. I was awake at 5 o'clock this morning, and I was able to shower before my kids ever got out of bed. And I have a phone call. So then after I showered, I got a coffee. I got to I let Riley play in the bathtub for a good 30 minutes to help him with his sores because I know that it's bothering him. But he got to sleep last night too. I reached out for help and I was like, what can I give this kid? What can I put on his sores? How can I help him feel better? And because I asked for help, he was able to sleep through the night as well. Because sleep is so essential when it comes to healing. Sleep is so essential to everything in life. If we don't get enough rest, our brain starts to do weird things and we feel like moving out of state. I was a mess, you guys. I loved the way that I did my video the other day, and I wanted to do a video like that today, but I was like, this is not possible. You guys cannot see me at this state that I was in. It was a disaster. I'm grateful to be here today and to be refreshed and to have that rebound rate. Like previously, I would have drug it out for weeks. I would have been in my shit and felt like the world was falling apart around me for weeks, months, right? Like we're coming up on Thanksgiving. I would have carried that into the holiday. And I would have been like, I hate this. I hate everything. I hate my life. And none of that is true. I was just exhausted. So how can you, if you're feeling a certain type of way, how can you get back to where you were? How can you find the things that make you happy? And I'm not saying like pretend it never happened, but for me, all it took was sleep. Simple. Right? What is that one thing? What do you really need? And you can't ask other people what you need because nobody else knows what you need. For me, it was apparent because I hadn't had sleep for 48 hours, right? I had had minimal sleep. But say, maybe you haven't had a meal. Maybe you've been working yourself so hard that you haven't actually sat down and had a decent meal. Maybe you haven't drank water. I had not drank water. I had maybe had 1 cup of water in the last 48 hours because I always drink 1 cup of water before I make my coffee. But otherwise I was drinking Pepsi, and that is not my norm. My norm is water, coffee, water, maybe a pop for lunch, water, and then water throughout the day. Not water, coffee, pop, 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 pop. It was bad, right? So what is it that you need? And if it's not apparent, sit down and write the things that you think that you need. And then get to the base of that. Right? I hope that helps. If that helps, drop a comment below. Thank you for helping. Something, I don't know. I'm still new to all of this, like how to know that you're still watching whenever you get here. Hello. So my goal for today is to catch up from exhaustion. We have a house of 7, so I plan on using my support system to clean for an hour and just get back to the base. I feel like life gets away from us whenever we're so exhausted. So that is my goal for today. Like the video, subscribe, and I will see you on the next video.